The New South Wales Rural Fire Service calls itself the world's largest volunteer firefighting organisation, but claims of a 71,000 membership are now being questioned. With increasing concerns, the figure is inflated and doesn't give an accurate picture of resources on the ground. A number of current and former firefighters have come forward to speak to Sky News, and our investigations reporter Jonathan Lee spoke to them.
This decorated firey has risked his life for years protecting the community. To prevent him from being sanctioned, we are not revealing his identity and have distorted his voice. But he's one of a number of past and present New South Wales Rural Fire Service members calling into question comments Commissioner Rob Rogers made in our story last week around what could best be described as the rubbery figures which make up the state's hazard reduction targets and the true number of its volunteer firefighting force.
I would remind of an old adage, and that is the truth will out. They're going to wake up one day and find that they can't man the trucks.
The RFS told Sky News it had slipped to 71,000 members, of which 56,500 are operational. But 2 months ago, Budget Estimates was told a different figure.
How many of those 70,000 are trained up to date and active and ready to actually respond this summer?
Make sure I give an accurate answer, but it's around 45,000 that are trained, ready to go.
The Commissioner's told Sky he has no interest in properly checking. And just to be clear, you don't want an audit to work out how many volunteers you got access to?
No, because the volunteers can decide their own membership and tell us what it is.
Critics say the figures are swollen with dormant members who are difficult to remove from lists. Sky News was shown this confidential app used to rally crews when disasters hit. It's called RFS Active. So for this incident, 3 people are attending, 6 people have declined, and there's somewhere between 30 and 40 who haven't even responded. In the last decade, how many members of your brigade have never turned up?
3/4.
3/4?
Yeah. Some people I haven't, in 12 years, have never met.
Tony Leonard is a former RFS fire investigator in the state's Hunter region. He believes operational numbers could be fewer than 20,000 members. Others have told us they agree.
The numbers that are presented don't, in my opinion, anywhere near equate to reality. He makes no attempt to ensure that the brigades keep their records accurately.
The cynic in me suggests that the bigger the fire service looks, the more money it gets, when it might actually be a little skinnier than the public really knows.
Because at the end of the day, our numbers fluctuate.
The rubbery nature of figures seems to extend to hazard reduction targets. We were told
It's that 60,000 hectares has been done, and it is just under 300,000 that we're targeting.
the RFS now says that target is nearly 325,000 hectares, meaning at the halfway point it's achieved even less than 20% of its 12-month target. There's nothing rubbery though about the funding. It was $389 million in 2017. It has surged to $808 million this budget, over $100 million more than last year. One of the growing accusations is that governments are spending vast sums of money to build an empire of aircraft which respond to areas like this once a fire breaks out, rather than engage in prescribed hazard reduction burns, which are cheaper but politically unpopular because the smoke hovers over the inner city electorates which may not burn in a fire, but they do swing elections.
We've changed from a fire management regime to a fire suppression regime.
Philip Cheney was the head of the CSIRO bushfire unit for more than 2 decades. He blames politicians' obsession with planes and choppers.
People can stand with their politicians in front of this and say, gee, we're doing a great job.
He advocates hazard reducing a massive 10% of the state, far greater than what's currently attempted, believing it should be done by a paid professional force.
You can't expect a volunteer to knock off his job with little warning because that's the conditions when the burn should be carried out.
Emergency Services Minister Jihad Dib refused an interview, a statement saying he had been assured by the Commissioner he has the overarching volunteer resources needed. What would you ask the Fire Commissioner if you had the opportunity?
To look at his figures, the numbers do not add up.
Jonathan Lee, Sky News.